What is up, everybody? Me and Mr. Kevin Jones. Say what's up, Kev.
What's up, y'all? What is up?
Yeah. What's up? So yeah, we were gonna be here. We're talking about AEW. It's 2 shows that's going on, and I'm gonna be real. We got a schedule, so we can't cover everything every single night. You feel me? So we gonna compile it. We gonna come together and we gonna talk about just the best things from both shows, AEW Dynamite and Rampage. You ready, brother?
Of course, man. I am 100% ready. What do you want to start off with?
Exactly. Let's talk about the first thing here real quick. This world title eliminator. These matches have been kind of good so far. Not gonna lie. You know, we saw Orange Cassidy defeat Powerhouse Hobbs on AEW Rampage. It was a short little matchup. I definitely wish Powerhouse Hobbs would have got a little bit more and it didn't lose in such kind of a fluky way, but it was what it was. And we got a banger to kick off Dynamite. Bryan Danielson beating Dustin Rhodes in a phenomenal matchup. And then we got a somewhat shorter matchup, a kind of unfortunate ending. We saw Lance Archer kind of land on his head on that moonsault. But we got Eddie Kingston defeating Lance Archer and going on to move on to face Bryan Danielson in the next round as well. What's kind of been your impression about the tournament so far?
Tournament's been great. Honestly, I really do wish, of course, there's been the endings for 2 out of the 3 matches that have been very unfortunate or lackluster. I wish it wasn't Orange Cassidy. I wish Powerhouse Hobbs got the win. That was a big thing for me. I feel like we gotta start really giving it to Hobbs. Hobbs has had a few losses. Of course, he's bounced back with evening it out on like dark elevation. But when it comes down to like Dynamite and Rampage, his win-loss record isn't exactly the best this year. Yeah. And then, of course, the unfortunate thing that happened to Lance Archer and his match with Eddie Kingston. I do believe that it would have been Archer to win if it wasn't for that. But other than that, banger of a match between Dustin and Bryan. Yeah. I definitely like the ending too of Dustin didn't even tap. He just lost consciousness to show that he was all game for it. And you could honestly tell the nerves of Dustin.
Oh, yeah, he was that boy was nervous.
Definitely, like that was, and then to like see how long that Bryan and Dustin did work together in WWE to know that they never locked in the ring at all.
Like one-on-one ever. That was incredible.
So, and then they're so great in the ring. And for Dustin to really get his first really big profile singles match since the whole Cody Rhodes match a few years back, that definitely, I could see why the nerves were as big as they were.
Yeah. And I mean, he had the bunkhouse match with like QT and stuff like that a little bit earlier. But I get what you're saying. More so like on a bigger stage, just kind of with stakes and things like that. So definitely makes sense. But yeah, definitely understandable Powerhouse Hobbs winning up. I think ultimately he's going to be the breakout member from everything that does kind of happen with Team Taz. Of course, you got Ricky Starks in there. So definitely things with, I think both of them will kind of just culminate a little bit further once they've kind of separated and just like gone their separate ways. But definitely, I kind of agree with Powerhouse Hobbs just in that respect. I'm fine with seeing a Jon Moxley Orange Cassidy match. I'm not going to front with you. I think we might have seen it once before. I'm not sure exactly when that was, but I think just seeing that matchup, especially with the no holds barred, I just cared about my daughter, Jon Moxley. Yo, his promos last night was so fire, bro. It was so freaking good. But just seeing that Jon Moxley go against the guy that just doesn't care either. I think that's going to be just a phenomenal matchup for like the semifinal. So I would have been fine either way. I'm more so kind of leaning towards Orange Cassidy just because he is kind of that big star, even though tournaments like this are meant to kind of build new stars. So I see what you're saying. But yeah, definitely with Lance Archer, very unfortunate. I was watching it live. He hit that moonsault and I was like, that rotation didn't look too good. Thank God he got up after the match and walked off on his own power and everything like that. But I am perfectly fine with Bryan Danielson, Eddie Kingston. You could sell me on that match even more. I was watching Rose to the Top, and they had the little interview segment, and they were going at it. Eddie Kingston was like, "Don't touch me, man. I was like, bro, this is gonna be phenomenal." So I can't wait for that matchup at all. I think both semifinals and the way they've kind of built the tournament so far, of course, with a couple lackluster endings, but I think everything's been pretty good so far. I don't know why 10 is in this tournament. I'm not going front with you. I don't know where he is in the rankings or anything like that, but they could have picked any member of Dark Order and kind of slide them in there. But to each his own. We'll see how the match is on Dynamite. But I was just thinking it was kind of weird when the bracket came out. I was like, 10. Interesting.
Well, 10, the thing is, they don't give much context about the dark and dark elevation matches. Of course, we get the little like strip at the bottom of the screen that lets you know who won and lost. But I think in order for you to be put into a tournament like this, you need big wins on Rampage and Dynamite. You need to be known that you're really in pursuit in the singles division in order to be put in standings like this. Because 10 probably does have a lot of wins, but he hasn't been seen, and that's the issue.
Yeah, and I don't think he's top 5 in the ratings either. I can definitely look into that. But yeah, definitely interesting. But we'll see how the match comes together. I'm still looking forward to it, nonetheless, and what they kind of do. So that's the World Title Tournament. Been a banger so far. But even far more interesting, what we've seen the past 2 AEW shows on Friday and Saturday, is all of a sudden this partnership between Andrade El Idolo and Malachi Black. Wow. And just seeing that partnership form has started after Andrade beat Pac beat Andrade on Rampage. Lights went out, and all of a sudden Malachi Black was here, and he was just putting the hands to Pac. I'm like, what just happened? Like, what are we doing? And then we saw at the end of Dynamite, as Malachi and Cody were having their matchup, we see Andrade El Idolo come up on the stage, and then Pac comes out, attacks him, and just kind of runs him off. But really seeing this partnership kind of form between El Idolo and Black has been fairly interesting. What are kind of your thoughts? Like, why is this happening? Like, what's going on?
We definitely need context. I think it's not a bad move. I think it's one of those cases where you had 2 hot free agents come in, and you don't really know the direction. You know where you want to go with the world title. You know where you want to go with the TNT title. And you know where you want to... You do, but you don't know where you want to go with the tag titles. So it's one of those cases where these guys got to be somewhere. I think it's one of those cases where they have their next year drawn out, and they didn't exactly have a spot for Andrade and Malachi to where they could capitalize on any momentum that they would get. It's one of those cases where I guess in their story, with them both taking losses in back-to-back shows, it makes it more intriguing for them to be partners together and how their partnership will form. I'm definitely... First, I was confused why they did a third match with Cody anyway. Yeah. Second, I'm confused why Cody won. So it's... Yeah. I just... It's one of those things where it's like, Cody, we love you as a wrestler. We really do. You're one of the most compelling and most intriguing wrestlers that was not used to his full potential in WWE. You actually were the future. You did great things on the indies. You really changed the trajectory for indie wrestlers. Bro, so like the Elite were heels when they were big on the independent scene. Bullet Club, they were heels. So like Kenny and the Young Bucks went back to being heels like they should have. Yeah. And they're better heels than they've been in their careers.
Correct. Yes.
Cody, I'm confused.
He doesn't want to do it. Like, I don't know if you watched Rose to the Top, but I watched the season finale just because it was on and I didn't have anything better to do. But literally at the end, he said, I don't think my character needs a heel turn, or I don't want a heel turn. And I'm like, dog, like literally, he would be phenomenal in the role, like he was when he first left WWE. Like, of course,
Exactly.
it
He
would
was
be
a
like
great
more.
heel.
Yeah, exactly. He was a great heel. Like they kind of describe it, or kind of related to like Homelander from the Boys show, and I see that completely. Like he would be so phenomenal in that role. So I don't know why he specifically doesn't want to turn heel, and all of a sudden why his wife is so enamored with the idea of being a heel. So kind of seeing that dichotomy there was just weird. In terms of just the partnership in general, it kind of confuses me to an extent. I think Andrade with his thing, at least that we've seen for both like FTR and everybody else that he's kind of worked with, it's been more so kind of under the fact that, oh, I have a lot of money, oh, I have a lot of influence, so I can go after doing these things. But at the same time, like, I don't think Malachi Black really care about money like that. Like, I don't think that's like his main focus or like his drive for what he's kind of going after doing. And so I think when you look at it that way, it's like, all right, one guy's whole appeal is money and influence and power, and then the other guy doesn't care about any of those things per se, or at least his intentions haven't made it seem like he cares about those things per se. So just kind of the combination of those two is fine. As a tag team or just like a partnership, I love the idea of it just because they're both like great workers, and I would love to see that they would do, especially since they're both like ex-WWE guys as well. Let me see, after this show, Andrade is like F-WWE. I'm like, oh, okay, well, we didn't have to say any of that. Okay, we love both companies. We're going to leave it at that. But just seeing that and just kind of having them form and come together. I remember they fought at like NXT TakeOver for like the NXT Championship once. So seeing the chemistry that they have is going to be really cool to see. I'm looking forward to how it kind of progresses in the next couple of weeks. Maybe that leads to Cody and Pac and like Death Triangle and a whole bunch of other people getting involved. I just don't know. It's just very intriguing up to this point. So we're going to see what happens. But that's been very interesting so far. But we're going to get to one of the best things that is happening right now, and that is the burgeoning and building feud between MJF and Darby Allin. My goodness, this thing started.
This has been,
bro.
This has really been one of the top. This is honestly the top feud in AEW right now.
Well, I won't say top feud. Kenny and Hangman get kind of going, but
so there's numerous feuds going on.
yes.
When it comes to anticipation and it comes to how you're going to move your company forward, this is the first time we've really seen two young stars go after each other outside of Sammy and MJF.
We saw Jungle Boy and MJF a little bit, I think back last year, like Double or Nothing they faced off. So kind of in that same realm, though. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
We knew when Jungle Boy and MJF got into their feud last year, there was a lot more room to grow in that feud.
Right. Yeah.
Just like with Sammy and MJF, there was a lot more to grow in this feud. This feels like, even when their feuds ended, this feels like the first big feud from two of their youngest talents. And this is going really well. This literally shows like the complete opposite and contrast of these two. And I love how that is the ultimate clash between them. And ultimately showing the daredevil versus the more calm and calculated. I wouldn't even say he's calm and calculated, but he's the more... Yeah, he's not calm at all. But the more calculated MJF. It's literally... This week was so great. It didn't involve Darby at all. But it involved Darby in the reasoning for MJF's actions was to break Darby in every way he possibly could. So the pop that Darby's about to get when he comes back, strictly off of how MJF has been carrying it since he's been gone, is going to be insane.
It's going to be amazing. I think that's the one thing that kind of stuck out to this week. One is that MJF is the best heel in North America. Probably. Nobody else, can elicit that type of vitriol and like the reaction of just boos and hatred from the audience. Nobody's really good at that anymore. Like I always see Roman, he kind of had it at first, but once the crowds came back, they kind of acknowledged like his character, like, all right, he's killing it. I appreciate him. And Kenny's kind of the same way. Like we know that you're the best pop machine. We know that you do these things. You're good in our book. MJF is so hateable, dog. Like, I found myself as one who like respects like his work and would probably like be okay with him like outside of that. But to see him, what he did to Sting, bro, like, oh my god.
What MJF shows as a heel is one of the best qualities. His ability to talk to the fans.
Yeah.
When you see heels, a lot of people, especially when you see in WWE, you see that they have a strip. They don't really interact much with the fans. You see Charlotte do it very well. And you see Alexa Bliss do it very well. But when it comes down to actually bringing more hatred off of already cutting a promo, and then on top of that, interaction with the fans, literally when he's going down the ramp, and I guess one of the fans was talking, and he goes, shut up, fat boy. I'm the one speaking. When, oh my goodness, that he is one of the absolute top people on the mic in pro wrestling right now.
Yeah, if not the top. Nah, I think he's phenomenal. And just the way that they brought it forward, kind of like you said, like once they bring Darby back in a couple weeks, the roof is going to blow off the entire place. And I think it's more than likely going to be the show stealer at Full Gear when it does happen. But just seeing how they've kind of progressed for that towards now, I don't think they've done a good number of like comeback angles, like somebody gets injured or somebody goes in and like, ooh, it's coming back. We had that with Cody earlier in the year, but like that was, he's kind of in limbo right now, so it doesn't really matter. But like someone who is as beloved and as needed back as Darby Allin, just for the feud to kind of progress forward. And like you said, like this is like the first like I would say like big major feud between two of those younger guys, are kind of like those pillars. Yeah, like you said, MJF, he's kind of feuded with Jungle Boy and Sammy Guevara, but it hasn't been too much to the extent of, okay, this is going to be a long-ranging feud, or this is like one of the pillars of like the pay-per-view or things like that. I think this is going to have a lot of stake on AEW's future. And like this is going to determine a lot of things. I personally think MJF is going to be the world title holder within the year. Not this year, but within the year after Hangman probably wins it. But I think that is the direction for him, and I think that him and Darby Allin, as coming from here, is going to end up being a world title feud in the next year as well. So there's a lot that's going to happen at Full Gear. This is going to be one of the mainstay things that I think is going to happen. But the heat that he drew this week was chef's kiss. Like you can't get any better. You really can't. But those are the main three things from Dynamite and Rampage. Anything else that you thought was just particularly interesting or fun to watch at all?
The Bobby Fish CM Punk feud is going to be very, very good. I believe that's going to be great.
They some old boys about to go at it. They both like 40 plus. About to knock it up. Let's go.
And it's funny, like seeing him when he was in the Undisputed Era in NXT and his wrestling style, and seeing it now, you can tell just by his presence in the ring, he is hitting a whole nother stride.
He's been waiting to get out. he's been waiting to do what he's doing now. And I love the Red Dragon music. I loved Red Dragon back in ROH, him and Kyle O'Reilly, for him to bring back that music. I think everything is really coming together just with this character. And he's only been there like 3 weeks. That's what's crazy about it. He's already just I won't say a hated heel, because the crowd wasn't really reacting too much to what he did. But just to be like in a major feud with CM Punk after getting like released like 90 days ago, like that's pretty fire. Like, not gonna lie to you. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the progression of this TBS, this women's title tournament as well. We saw Ruby Soho beat up on Penelope Ford to just win their matchup. We see Red Velvet and the Bunny coming up later. But the buys in this tournament, I'm looking forward to see how it progresses. I love that they kind of get the first 4 women that the rankings kind of buys for Jade and Thunder Rosa and Nyla and things like that. So I'm looking forward. Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to the progression of that and just seeing what kind of happens. And we know Ruby's going to face off against Chris Statlander. I am picking Jade to win this whole thing, bar none. Y'all can fight me on that. Like, go baby, go Cargill. But yeah, just looking forward to the progression of that and how that kind of goes on for the next couple of weeks and months. It's going to be interesting for sure.
What I would love to see, my dream finals would be Nyla Rose versus Jade.
I think that's more than likely what it's going to be if they are going to go heel. I know they got Chris on the other side of the bracket as well, so they might be tempted to go after doing that. But I think Jade and Nyla are both on different sides of the bracket, and I don't think they've had their one-on-one match as of yet. I know they had a triple threat with Thunder Rosa involved and things like that, but I am with you. I can't wait to see that if that is the final. That's going to be hard-hitting, tough, physical. I would love to see that. Yes. But that's gonna be it about AEW. We finished up here. We're gonna be back next week. We got AEW on Wednesday going back, and then Rampage on Friday. So hopefully get kind of in the groove of doing this a little bit earlier in the week or in the weekend. But yeah, anything else there for you, brother?
No, I'm good. I think this was a solid first one.
Liddy. We all gonna have more videos throughout the week. Look out for those reactions. Look out for other videos coming. But that is gonna be it from me and your boy. I'm out. Peace. Take care of yourselves. Love, happiness, everything like that. See you soon.
Love y'all.